Morning.
All right, we have our recording started. So let's call to order the Marble Valley Regional Transit District Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, May 12th at 10:06 a.m. And we'd be looking for a motion to approve the May 12th agenda.
I have some changes for it. Sorry.
Okay.
First of all, wanted to move O&D presentation to the top, below open to public above finance report.
Okay.
And then, just wanted to check, Jeremy, did you want to add a spot or are you all set?
I'm all set.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
Thank you.
I'll also
Thank you,
have
Doug.
mine
Appreciate
ready to Pull out the agenda.
Yeah. That's it.
We're also going to meet the ridership report.
Oh, and removing the ridership report. Oh, okay.
Still waiting on that data.
So we're adding approval of the agenda. We're adding, we're deleting the ridership report
Correct.
and we're moving O&D.
To after open to the public.
Okay. So moved.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion that's been seconded. All in favor? Aye.
And I'll make that motion to approve the May 12th, what is it, the April 14th minutes.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
There was.
Did somebody just second? Sorry.
Seconded.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. There's Sam. Open to the public. Are there any public present that want to speak to the board? No. Okay, then we're gonna move right on to O&D presentation. Go ahead, Christy, take it away.
Thank you. Let me just, I'm sorry, pull it up.
Oh, but I already got it opened up.
Oh, you're ready already?
Yeah, would you mind just sharing the screen for the first?
Not very tech savvy. Bear with me.
You're on vacation.
I am. I'm in vacation mode here. Jump back in
You
here.
just wanted the screen right there.
I thought it did. Okay.
Oh, no, you did. Perfect.
Okay. And then I go to. Okay. Hello, I'm Christy Bloomer, the program manager here. For those that don't know me, was asked to do a presentation on our older adults and persons with disabilities program. And so I know there's some new folks that may not even know what this program is all about. So I thought I would start from the very beginning, introducing the program going as far back as 1975, when there was FTA funding for specialized lift-equipped vehicles to assist with folks who use wheelchairs. And then in 1982, SSTA actually was the first in Vermont operating out of Colchester. They were a one van show to transport folks to medical appointments using their lift assist vehicle. And then 1990-91 is when ADA came to be. Funding increased, and then the official program started in 2004, was known as the Elder Adults and Persons with Disabilities. And in 2016 was when they started seeing funding constraints, where they were starting to limit what rides were going where, prioritizing medical over social personal. And then 2020s, looking more toward now, again, some more of that funding constraint. So really the focus is the braided service model. So having folks go together for transportation, such as a Medicaid rider and an O&D rider. And then also really focusing on volunteers for least cost mode, getting those folks where they need to go. So from 2004, until last fiscal year, we partnered with several different organizations and allow those folks a percentage of the O&D funding for their clients to provide transportation. So these are just some of the folks over the years. Who pays for O&D? Well, it's a grant fund that is oh my gosh, here I go with my words again. The V-Trans is the one who administers those funds to us. It's 80-20, so 80% of the funding from V-Trans, 20% is Marble Valley. Previously, when we funded the partners and their programs, this is kind of what it looked like. V-Trans had the grant, awarded the grant to Marble Valley, and then these folks were distributed a percentage based on their need. And we were noticing a lot of duplicate clients, duplicate trips. Some clients were actually eligible for other programs such as Medicaid. We were also paying a 20% to those partners for those that had their own volunteers, and Marble Valley was still covering that 20% match. So we decided last fiscal year to really bring everything in-house. Also want to point out we were actually the only one in the state operating the way that we were through those partners. So again, bringing everything into Marble Valley so we could have more efficiencies, share rides like the rated system model I was talking about. We could confirm the Medicaid eligibility, making sure folks are using that mode for medical appointments first if they're eligible. 20% that we were giving to those partners for volunteers are actually staying in the grant. There's obviously less admin time managing those partners. We did still agree to do the group trips and honor what we did the previous years. And then, we're still covering that 20% in-kind local match. So what is O&D here at Marble Valley? Well, it's a free transportation service offered to older adults, 60 and older, for persons with disabilities who reside within Rutland County. We offer a variety of trips: social, personal, shopping, non-Medicaid medical. We take folks who use wheelchairs by cutaway or our volunteer drivers. The idea was just to have one call for all of your transportation needs. So if somebody needed a ride anywhere within, Rutland County or resided in Rutland County, could call our call center. Representative would verify their eligibility, book their ride, and using the least cost mode. So why the program is so important? Without access to transportation, the older adults could actually suffer from extreme social isolation, miss essential medical care appointments, be limited to food access, possibly miss employment or educational opportunities, which could increase the risk of depression, chronic disease, malnourishment, and economic strain. So providing this transportation really does give folks their independence back. So about our clients, Rutland County residents are, folks we serve. Population is over 60,000. 25% of the population in Rutland County is 65 or older, and 30% of adults live with a disability. So a little bit about our riders. I attempted to fix our map because there was questions at the executive committee about the shape of the different areas, but actually this is just how it's generated in an Excel. So
I can verify that.
I showed Tyler, I was like, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but based on our zip codes, this is the map that's generated. The data is correct. So of our O&D riders, 213 reside within Rutland City, and it goes throughout. And actually, we'll move you guys over here so we can kind of see who's where. But just, interesting to see who we serve and where they're located. Oops, now I broke it, Tyler. Oh, there we go.
Say, just click them off.
Oh, I can.
Yep.
Goodbye. Okay. So more about our riders. The average age of our O&D riders are 67 years old. So 52 are between the ages of 24 to 59, and 60 to 96 is our oldest O&D rider. We have 389 in that category. And folks who use wheelchairs, 57, and the rest are ambulatory. So it's about 87% of our riders are ambulatory. So a little trip comparison. We obviously haven't finished the fiscal year. So this is just data from July to March. These are the trip totals for last year's the partners. And again, same program. And then this is this year so far with just Marble Valley, volunteer drivers and our bus drivers. So there's a huge increase in trips, especially the non-Medicaid medical. And grant spending, we are also trending to overspend again this year. However, we provided a lot more transportation and we were, level funded. We did get some additional dollars mid-year, but much less overspent. And we're projecting what Q4 is going to be because we haven't gotten there yet. So assuming it was our highest month, assuming we have another, or highest quarter, assuming we have another high quarter, kind of just worst case scenario. Some more statistics about this year, again, from July to March. So far, we've completed 8,160 trips, 10,333 riders. The reason there's so many more is group trips. This includes folks that are on those group trips. Looking over here to our average one-way trip with the bus is 122, whereas a volunteer is 35. So combined, our average is about 72.54, which is about what it is across the state. So, we're doing well there. So what's next for the program? Obviously, we want more funding. We're, looking for more donations, talking about a simplified cost allocation across the state. So things are, distributed as they should be. Also, the 20% for group trips, we've been covering that, again, honoring what we did last year. This coming fiscal year, we'll be receiving that 20% from them. We also have a great new software that we're about to launch, which does auto scheduling in less than 10 seconds. Which is amazing. It'll also have that same feature in dispatching. Hoping to have the volunteer app as well. So a lot of perks with the new software, which again, will hopefully make more efficiencies using least cost mode and that sort of thing. Also looking to inform our riders more this year. Just talking about Medicaid and, maybe suggesting that they look in, they may be eligible to apply. Some possible travel training, having a staff member here, being able to help folks assist on public transportation. Tyler's been working on bus ambassadors to also have our riders help. More community presentations, again, more toward fixed route to get people, utilizing what they have for options. And then also focusing on volunteers, obviously using the least cost mode, possible, incentives for them to do more local trips, recruitment, retention. We have the MTI grant for that, so that should also help. So projections, again, where we're headed, we did receive $675,000 reward for FY27. So ideally, this is what we would like every quarter to look like. Realistically, if we're going to continue to provide the same transportation we do now for our current members, we're really looking to be overspent $117,000. But again, we have, some goals for our group trips and donations, and an ultimate goal of maybe, decreasing that cost per ride, even by 2%, I think would make a big difference. So with more funding, efficiencies, and education, we can provide more O&D transportation for O&D members. So that's it. Anybody have?
Great job.
Thanks. Any questions?
Is the reason our rides, does it have anything to do with our rides are so increased this year because we didn't used to count the partners? Or is it just we've just been knocking out of the park?
So we were able to track the trips from the partners.
Okay.
That we were able to track. We didn't have data on who their riders were, names, and that sort of thing. But the ridership, that was something, and the categories actually were able to.
Because I know we're still trying to clear all of it.
Right.
How we're counting people, so it's the same.
Yeah.
So my questions are, you get a grant, there's a 20% match. Usually when you get a grant, that's what you spend. We're saying we're spending $117,000 more than what? So within the program, what are the rules?
What are the parameters that we'll look at?
What's, you know, I mean, if we get $650,000, if we get $1 million, it's a 20% match then, it's $1.2 million that we spend. Why are we spending $1,377,000?
Because currently the match that we have is in kind. It's generated as an actual.
Yeah, but that's still, so when you get a grant, it can either be cash or in kind,
Right, we're drawing the whole amount based on in kind, but it's not real.
but we're
dollars.
overspending.
We're overspending.
So then if you're over 60, so let's pick on me, I'm over 60. I can just call up and say, I want a ride to go shopping.
Well, there are
So I'm
some,
just trying-
there are some limitations. So,
And that's-
yeah, at the beginning of the year, we were allowing 6 rides per member, or 6
Okay.
round trips.
Okay,
And halfway through the year, we were trending towards overspending even more, so we brought that down to 4. And then the decision was made last month to kind of put a halt on accepting new members, to just be able to continue to serve our current members. We're gonna open that back up in July and just again, continue to watch and monitor. We obviously don't want to reduce more rides. We don't want to not allow more members in, but mid-year, that'll probably be something we're looking at.
yeah, but so there are bumpers
For sure.
that you're saying that you accept so many or whatever, but I guess in the beginning of the year, you gotta figure out, like, I've got $650,000 to spend.
Right.
And so how is that gonna work with how many rides?
And usually, we also consider restricting maybe social, personal, or shopping, really trying to hone in onto,
Yeah.
it's hard to determine because some of those folks need that for food
Or
access.
maybe more
So-
group busing or whatever you call it, that is, instead of doing individuals or whatever, that's group busing to go together. I mean, like, the way the presentation started out, it was great, it's like, who pays for this? Well, in the end, every taxpayer pays for it, and that's what I think we're hearing more and more and more about, like, grants are grants, but how do you get the money, so. Hopefully we can stay within the budget line, and I hate to say turning someone away, but it already sounds like you have a program in place of registering in the beginning of the year. And I think it just takes on that the administration is going to have to really target into this is how much we have to spend. And we can't overspend the budget.
It's an oversight nightmare, but not nightmare, but I've seen it in different ways. Where you have your number of members and then you give them a dollar amount.
Right.
Which also caps how many members you're allowed to have within the year. So we could look at it and run it that way, but there's always the critical care. And it's really hard to turn somebody away when they're needing to go, it's a tough
There's a
decision.
difference on critical care and.
Yeah.
And maybe in the budget, there has to be a certain percentage that's put aside for the unexpected critical care. So if you have 650, maybe there's gotta be something that shows what you're averaging spending on critical care. Or whatever, and then taking that from 650 and then dividing it up by everyone else. I mean, I hate to say it, that's because I think everyone should have, but then, then there are people that are being priced out of living in Lebanon County because their taxes are going up. So it's a really hard thing sitting here, sitting on a select board, sitting on a school board. You have to make sure that you're taking care of all sides. That's all I have to say. Great presentation.
Thanks.
I want to add 2 things to that. One is, we're able to see here clearly from this that we need to generate $117,000 more for this program. We're also looking at it as we project out, any kind of overage that we do have, that we're providing transportation. So we're making the determination to donate that to the O&D program by being, if you look at, we've projected in our over expenditure in our projections already. So where we end up at the end of the year, has already tied that. So we really,
Yeah, but when you say you need to raise the hundred, whatever, 77, how? Once you gave me
Yes.
actually another rule thought, right, I know. So you're doing that, and it's, to me, it's just, it's a tough call.
For example, the group trips that we provide, they want to know in advance what the expense is gonna be so that they can go out and get grants to cover that. So, working with other people's leverage for transportation.
I think you have it under control, and you're looking at it, something.
I just want to share, yeah. Thank you.
I'll say yes, of
And
course.
you're gonna get going.
Got it.
Yeah.
Emails.
I'm gonna work.
You got it already.
Thank you. Thanks.
But could you throw up the hot seat for those?
All right, let's move on to a finance report.
Sharing it.
Yeah, I got my phone there, installed. It's great. Oh. There it is. It's in Excel.
These guys. We're looking at the expenses through March 31st. This includes all the addendums we got from the state for additional budget money, lasting us through FY 26. As you know, we've been going through and adding and subtracting a lot of accounts to sort of spread everything out so we have a better understanding of where our money is going. Bottom line is through March, we are still $53,000 to the black. We were a little bit lower this month because this is the payment we had to make back to the state for our overbilling for fiscal year 25. That has all been settled. So not much, not much really stands out or exciting. It's just, we're going right along. We are out of state money. As of March, as of actually, February. So we are now, federal and local match going forward. Outside of the few other smaller grants, we have still some state money in. We have one more bus left to come in this year, but it's only about 13,000 local match because it's an insurance bus. So most of it's being paid for by insurance proceeds. We appear to be pretty steady if you look, since we're 9 months in. If you look at wages, we're pretty steady on being around the 70%, which is where we want to be. We're predicting pretty much steady through the end of the year. And doing our best to really reevaluate everything on a month-by-month basis. And making sure we're going to make it to the end of the year in a good position. Yeah, projection in here. This really quick is just quick projection I did. Still through March, but if you go to the bottom line, what we're looking at here is our year-end net with my projections is we're at negative 526. But that does, if you do a cash flow, we have money in the bank, a couple of different bank accounts we have money in. We still have our $900,000 in our CDAR account. So we're estimating that we're going to finish in the black by $1 million this year, including that $900,000 we're going to re-roll back into a CDAR and going to try to get through the year being a little bit ahead. And that includes we're going to be covering the O&D through the end of the year and local match. So we're getting a much better handle on where our money's going. The reductions in the routes has helped. We're gonna see more of that in April. As some of the other routes were cut down. Obviously, Killington has comes to an end in April. And, so we feel like we're in a good position to make it through May and June without any state, match. And, we're just keeping a real tight eye on everything.
Thank you,
Pretty
Patty.
soon we're $1 million. But then yet this projected estimated said negative 5.6. I thought I just started with
Yeah,
900,000.
well, yeah, when I did, this is the estimate net revenue, but I just did, this is just popping out revenue minus expenses. But at the time I did this, we still had this much in the bank account. Plus we had the $900,000 CDR balance. So if you take the cash we have on hand minus what our expenses are gonna be, we still plan on coming out ahead.
All right. Patty, thank you.
Okay.
Let's go to CDR rollover.
We got one more piece, sorry, Devin, of the
Oh.
finance.
Yeah, so this is our, we just received our award for fiscal year 27 from the state. We were pleased with it. This is what we requested in this, block here. This is what we've received. The only thing we don't have yet is the capital match, which I'm sure will be out soon. So, we got, RJA stayed steady. We only got about 8,000 less than we asked for with ops. Pretty steady, same, about 10,000 less with admin. PM, our tap, increased a little bit, which is great. So, we're happy with what we got. We thought we did a great job, with our budget to ask for reasonable amounts. Considering we did put in about 150,000 extra for, gas and diesel, which we might be a little low, looking at how everything is going. And we did get, a nice extra boost in O&D. We started out at 525 last year. They gave us $100,000 mid-year to get us to 625. And we ended up getting 675 for this year, which will help some of that overage. And, with all the new, improvements we're making with the systems and really keeping a good eye on everything, we're hoping that we can keep within these numbers. And where's the PTG in here? Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, this is our PTG. This is our state match, the 80-20 match. We were given $1 million this year. Looks a little different because we did get some very generous mid-year adjustments this year. And obviously we'll be hoping for those mid-year. Hint, hint, Jeremy. So same with O&D, we were given $100,000 in O&D mid-year, so. Looks all positive to us.
Do you need a motion to accept the finances?
I don't think we screwed. So onward and upward, as they say. Next piece is our.
Yeah, let's go. Thank you,
Oh,
Patty. Let's go to
Our
CDR.
CDR rollover, we spoke with our bank, we're gonna keep the about $37,000 in interest. I think we earned on this one 34,000 over the past year. The rates right now are better at 6 months. Plus it gives us the option, just in case we need money for something, to get the money out without any penalties. So we're gonna go with a 6-month CD at, I believe it's 0.315%.
Yeah, I think have it, I apologize, my brain's.
My best rate's 3.5.
Yeah, 0.315 versus I think the year long was less than 3%. So we're gonna go with the 6 month for better money and, more flexibility. And then we'll reevaluate once it rolls again in October.
think for,
Yeah.
for
we need a vote.
IEC.
Where do we put the money? In which, it's just very low.
Community Bank, we're doing a CDR, which is, you know, a little better than the CDs right now.
Some of the banks are offering, you can just put it in a checking and saving 4%. You don't have to keep it in there. My daughter's just transferred a bunch of money over to SoFi
Yeah,
to account 4%. And then I think my wife was saying, whatever now, like Berkshire, whatever they're calling themselves, Beacon.
And it has the same level of insurances.
yeah, but you have to, because the auditor asks for, you know, Canadian National Bank has to have all the, what do you call it, the,
They're FDIC, so far.
No, but.
Yeah, but
I know
FDIC
what they're
only
saying,
covers
250,000.
I'll try, sorry.
yeah.
That's all I got.
But you can ladder them out to different banks,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
Well, it's something
It
we
doesn't
can.
sound like a lot, but right now, I'm whatever, it's not
Yeah.
0.315, it's 3.1.
yeah, it's
That's
nothing
good,
in my head.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we could probably look for.
Maybe the
maybe
next year,
one.
probably.
Yeah, we can definitely do that next year.
Doesn't sound like a lot, but 0.85 or whatever is a lot on $1 million.
Yeah.
So did you need a motion?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion that we invest that $900,000 in the 3.5%,
3
These three.
All right.
5% CD that you were referencing,
Okay,
with the bank that you were referencing.
thank you.
I'll second the motion, but just to clear, it's the 900 plus the 37,000.
No, we're just doing the principal.
Okay,
We put the interest in accrued and then
okay,
just took it.
that's our second motion.
All right, we have a motion. It's been seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we have passed. Excellent. Thank you, team. All right, ED report.
All right, I just have a couple items, mostly shared with, the executive committee last week. We've been working with Walmart, to create a contract for FY 28, to serve, Super Walmart that's going in. Devin shared this was the, contract was the only piece left, their 250, permitting. So that's fully executed now, we're all set and ready to go when that happens, so that's exciting. We, just a tech information, we're, switching over to Fidium here, should be nominal savings of about $3,000 a year. But we're doing that at all 3 sites, including the transit center, higher level of service, for us. As we're all aware, we're rolling pretty quickly into rolling out fares. Sales will start June 1st, hopefully, if not the very next week. We'll start the sales of fares, and then fares will be rolled out on July 1st for all public transportation. We're working with businesses currently to come up with the best case scenarios for purchasing employee passes. I worked with Killington last week. And so this week we'll carry on the work that we're doing to ensure that we can grandfather in the use of the employee ID cards as their passes. So we're working with them. Killington has been an amazing partner, and so we're looking to make that a really smooth transition this year to ensure that employees are able to flow and function the way they have been for the last 6 years, being fare free. So then the last piece, I guess, is a tiered system that we're looking for with the business passes. Sent that along to a CPA to ensure that our communications are appropriate with the tax benefits that come along with supplying passes to employees. So, and the last big piece to the fares is Medicaid member transportation on the routes. So I've been working with BPTA, and all the rest of the providers in the state to come up with statewide policy, to ensure that, we're meeting all the contractual efforts, to stay in the guidelines of fares for Medicaid members. That's all I have on the list. For today.
So for Killington with the passes, we had a conversation last month about how we're gonna allocate funds to those that are buying a pass and it's using it at night.
So if somebody bought a patent, they could use it day and night.
Right, but the nighttime being charged to all the groups, this is what I brought up the last time. And said, you know, how are you gonna calculate how much money is going towards the nighttime when somebody buys the pass? And then the Walmart, is there any in the contract? Because I was told that they want the nighttime bus. So the Super Walmart wants the nighttime bus. So when we're talking about the, whatever the figure is for the Rutland to Killington and back and everybody in between, the cost of that is like $186,000 for the year. So who's negotiating what and how much of Walmart kicking in towards that $186,000?
So Walmart is creating an extension off of that. The time where the bus is down in Rutland is the service piece that they're going to get. There's a half an hour in between a stop and a start point. So that's where the service will then branch out to Walmart in the Hannaford piece.
Yeah, but I mean, this is, Devin, this is like through the Act 250 and everything else here. I mean, you're gonna be getting people from Mendon, you're gonna get people from Killington that will be taking the bus from there to go to Walmart. So, I believe that there should be a fee, and that's what I thought that we were gonna go for. There should be a dollar amount of the $186,000 that's going to be allocated to Walmart also. Otherwise, this is just a fee right now to Killington. The town as a whole, that's all it is, it's $186,000 just being charged to the town of Killington. And when I say the town, not the municipality, but the whole business group up there, to figure out how to come up with $186,000. But yet, I brought it up many times, and the Killington brought it up. There are people in Mendon and there are people in Rutland and now with Walmart coming on, they will be getting bus ridership from Killington. And one of the big things, Devin, when Walmart spoke about moving from the current Walmart location to the Super Walmart, they basically said because of all the news of the villas being built up in Killington. So they are counting on that. So this is the time to make the share of the nighttime bus fair for all.
I agree. I have not heard what Killington is looking to do past June. Have we gotten any further with that?
We said we were on
Okay.
as a group. I mean, we had that conversation last, I mean, the resort's gonna have to pay something, whatever's not covered from the rest. The town is putting in for another $32,000 in its next vote, which may be in 30 days or whatever, to up the amount of money, but we were given a document that showed for a full year that started the day after Easter till the day before Thanksgiving for the summer, and then for
Right, okay.
Thanksgiving too, and it's $186,000, I believe.
Did they agree to it? Or they moving
We
forward?
have to.
Okay,
We need a nighttime bus, but discussion at the meeting last month was, you know, this is not just a Killington cost. When I say Killington again, I mean as a whole, all the businesses in the town, and the town is voting to put $32,000 extra in this next budget or whatever, but then we're gonna back out, and that's the vote, because it shouldn't be the town, this is supposed to be all the businesses from Rutland all the way up to the K1. So,
I
you know,
think
the resort understands, and I'm not really talking out of line here because I was talking to Mike Salamano and to, and they fear they feel it's not fair either. But all other businesses through Rutland, through Mendon, whatever, are not paying anything into it. And in the end, they're gonna have to pay whatever's not covered. So we have to do a drive, and we've signed on for, okay? And the KPA is gonna be doing theirs, but here I've been told 5 months ago that Walmart wants the nighttime bus. So for them to come in and just say, we're only gonna pick up the half hour, whatever, no, it's from point one to point whatever, 12, okay? Just like when somebody puts in a private road, the person at the front, the first house, doesn't get the 100 feet share of paying for maintaining that road. It's the whole road and everybody kicks in a fair share. So Walmart needs to kick in a fair share for the whole. And I think that's,
So I think we need to make sure that we're finalizing what it looks like for Killington and look at that.
if Walmart wants the nighttime bus from Killington, okay, then they need to pay for the whole share. That's it. Okay,
Yeah.
not just a half hour that they're in the Rutland City area. Because it could come down to the point that then Killington, as a whole group, says, we don't want the nighttime bus. And Walmart showed up and they're saying the reason why they're doing this is because of, they see a need for, because of a village being built up in Killington. Just going by what they said. So I would think that they should at least get a third of the cost of the yearly $186,000. I do see somebody on Sam from Killington. He has any points for their side. I'm talking to the town side.
Yeah, I would just say, I think can you guys hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
I would just say, I think from the resort's perspective, we echo most of what Jim's saying and that we shouldn't bear the whole load, right? And I don't think that Killington, the town, should necessarily bear the whole load, right? And my opinion, similar to Jim's, right? It's kind of like a third perspective. It's like a Rutland and Killington pitch in sort of agreement if that's the transportation need that we feel like is needed. Um, it, I wasn't here or a part of any of those conversations with Walmart. I would be curious to hear more about that. And I think too that we could, I don't know, I'm an analytics guy. I think it would maybe make sense to go back and look at ridership and look at what the Killington bus was doing in previous years from Killington to Walmart and what the timing and ridership looked like there, and figure out if there's a way to look at some sort of analytics on what stops down along the road on that route looks like as well. That might give us a better perspective. But generally, I would agree. I think it needs to be a partnership and it doesn't need to just fall on the deepest pocket as it has in the past.
Yeah, so I do want to appreciate that, Sam and Jim. I think that's fair, but I do want to remind folks that this is a work in progress and we can't expect the whole system to change overnight. So this specific issue with Walmart, don't think we should rush to open up an entire can of worms over one development project, but it does, I think it sets a good precedence that, like, with these new big developments, the opportunity is to get in with Act 250. And again, we can't, that's only if there's an Act 250 permit, but then there's something written in stone addressing that particular demand. So this is a good model, and we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, okay, well, everyone needs to be paying their fair share. That's a huge lift and a big cultural shift that I think needs to happen, but it's not going to happen overnight. Jade can give you an update on, they've made 50 emails, calls, and letters out trying to secure business from or funding from businesses, and I got one return email or call. So it's not we don't have a stick right now. Act 250 is the one stick we have, and I think leveraging it in this moment is important because they were not going to get the Act 250 permit without some sort of agreement with the bus to address this. So yeah, I do think taking the time between now and next winter to really continue to, what Sam said, bring some analytics in and try to have a formulaic approach to fundraising makes a ton of sense. And don't get me wrong, I think the free lunch has been far too long with folks sort of taking advantage of bus services with flat or zero subsidizing of that service. So just my 2 cents to sort of like bring it back to the 30,000-foot view of where we're at as an organization.
And I'll agree with that, Devin, and no one's saying to do it tomorrow or this summer. Or it was said that conversation that we agreed to a bus schedule that was given. We will have to find out how the money is going to be allocated from just the big Killington area for the next year, so we can work towards something like what Devin was just talking about. And to keep it in perspective, Great Golf is coming in with a village for an Act 250, and they're going to have to pay their fair share also. So this is not Killington folks just saying, this is Killington trying to work an agreement that's fair for all the places of the bus. So when Great Golf comes in, there's going to have to be a conversation with Great Golf of how much they're paying towards the nighttime bus and whatever else does. So, and any other one that comes now fall a little bit different. This is the way to do it. We're gonna cover the next year somehow.
I'd love to stop looking at the bus as though just night service. I understand it's an extension, but for the RKC in its totality and the expense of it, looking at it as a county or a community, it's 50% of what that entire expense. And maybe the whole extension goes away and we look at it in its totality rather than.
Well,
The last.
That's what I think. I think the nighttime bus, because it serves all, should be included in the whole.
Because of that, yeah.
But for now, that it's not, you're working a deal out with Walmart for the daytime stuff also, okay? And what I'm saying too, through Act 250, and when Great Golf or anyone big, whatever that comes in, I think that should be worked in there also. So I think it would make it easier if it's just thrown in, that the nighttime bus becomes a whole of the whole budget for everything. I agree 100% with that. Because I think the issue here is that when you just say the nighttime, everyone says it's for killing.
Yeah,
And
yes,
it's not,
right,
okay?
yes,
So we're in agreement on that,
absolutely.
and we got a year to figure this out, and maybe there'll be some Act 250 permits other than Walmart going through or whatever. I just hope we just look at trying to figure out it's okay. That's all.
Totally agree.
Are there similar discussions like this going on with the hotel development in the city? I guess to what we were talking about before, I feel like it would make sense, as Devin talks about future developments and expansions and whatnot, to have a methodical approach to come into these conversations instead of it just becoming a negotiating battle, right?
Yeah. The hotel got to avoid Act 250, so we missed that opportunity because they have a priority housing project waiver essentially for those apartments that are downtown. They will not have a direct bus service, and they will be connected to the transit center. So de facto there will be service because they will be at the Spoken Hub, but no direct route or
Gotcha.
stop. Yep.
But I'm
Um,
sure some of the folks that are staying at the hotel that would love to come up to ski at Killington are going to need to, some of them will be taking a bus up there, so there should be some conversation with any new businesses, even if they can avoid Act 250. That's all.
Just to add up to it, this year we stayed at 103 as our bus rate, but ideally it should have gone up this year. And, we don't know.
I don't think ideally, I think it should have, it should show the real rate.
Right, and so we're in discussions right now of, are we going to be needing to make this change in December?
I'm good on it as long as we move forward, but it's whatever bus route that you folks came up for with Killington Resorts input of cutting out until June 1, I believe. After the nighttime, I think it starts up June 1, then it goes to day before Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving to Easter. We have that schedule, and I believe a group in Killington Resort has agreed to that. Now it's up to, once again, this little tiny town of businesses that need to come up with $186,000.
Yeah, I don't know, I haven't seen, I don't think we've signed any agreements for the summer service yet.
I don't think it's done.
Yeah.
okay. Let's move along to other business. Is there any?
Well, it's birthday today.
Who's birthday?
There's a car.
And Tyler's.
All right.
Happy birthday to all those birthdays of today and tomorrow. That being said, a motion to adjourn at 10:57.
We will adjourn at 10:57 a.m. Thank you all. We'll see you later.
Oh, we don't have to sing happy birthday, Tyler.
Oh, no, we're returning a few minutes early. Oh.
3 minutes for it.
I thought these things were 10 to 12, we're an hour.